Here's what I need you to understand. The real glow up has absolutely nothing to do with how you look.
Find you under all that pain. There's a fire you can't contain. Let it lead the way.
So here's the thing. Everybody talks about your glow up. They talk about your body, how you look, your skin. But the truth is, when I experienced my initial glow up, it was internal. It had absolutely nothing to do with my outer appearance and actually how I felt for and about myself. In this video, I'm going to be talking about the glow up that no one else ever really talks about, and that is the internal change that changes everything. The biggest thing and the biggest understanding that I have as I'm walking on this journey is, first we have to change how we think about ourselves, what we want for ourselves, what we are doing intentionally, how we move, and the things that we actually tolerate in our life. That is going to be the first initial thing that we focus on in this identity shift, coming into that space where we actually glow up as that woman, as that powerhouse CEO that we all are looking to be in our life. And I don't mean just CEO when it comes to business. I just mean CEO as in you are the one who controls, writes the story, and dictates the way that your life flows the way that you want it to. So the first one is we need to stop waiting for outside validation. Your validation for yourself is enough, because sometimes you won't get people to support you. Sometimes you won't get people who even understand your story. So the first thing you have to do is understand that your validation is enough, and you don't have to wait for other people to give you the okay to just be you, to push to the next version of yourself, or to just bask in who you are in the moment. And then the second one for me would be to revise the way that you speak to yourself. If you have that inner bully that comes out and puts you down, or tells you that you're not good enough, or you're not smart enough, or that you're not pretty enough, and says negative things to you, you have to revise the way that you speak to yourself in a more positive manner. The next two would be let go of who you had to be in order to survive. And the second one would be choose peace over chaos, because we know a lot of times as women, we have been put in positions, and it's not all the time, but we've been put in positions where you felt like you had to survive. You had to be this hustler. You had to be this overachiever. You had to be this masculine woman. So we're moving out of operating in the survival mechanism and operating in a softer, peaceful state, which is choosing your peace over chaos. You don't have to be rah, rah, rah. You don't have to be so big. You don't have to be so bad. You don't have to wear the pants in every situation of your life, right? These are the internal things that we're working on so that our outside could look just as peaceful, as healthy, and as happy as our outside. The next two would be build confidence by small promises that you keep to yourself. And then the other one to be making sure that you are setting boundaries that work for you. Small promises could be things like eating better, going to the gym, making sure to comb your hair and fully get dressed in the morning, and then really building your confidence by setting the boundaries that you have for other people, boundaries that you have in your life. And the biggest thing with those boundaries is making sure not to feel guilty when you're setting them. So when you say no, that you're not interested in doing something, or you tell someone that they can't operate that way around you, don't feel guilty for what you're choosing for yourself. And we've talked about the next one in videos before. It would be stop comparing yourself to other people, right? Comparisons to me, and what I've heard just in listening to lots of books and watching videos and listening to podcasts, is comparison is basically a silent killer. So stop comparing yourself, your timeline, what you're doing to other people. Heal the things that you notice keep repeating. So if it's something that you keep doing, if you keep falling into a certain wavelength of maybe negative conversation or overspending or doing things that you feel like are negative in your life, let's start working on figuring out the things that you're repeating, and let's stop repeating them. And then the other one is just learning to heal and learning to be okay with the process and the progress that it takes in order for you to become this dynamic woman. Also, we're working on protecting our peace and protecting our energy. And that's really self-explanatory. And if you don't understand, it's not taking phone calls at a certain time, being consistent with what you're saying to yourself, even when other people are coming around, not changing or dismissing the promises or the vows that you've made to yourself, protecting your peace without operating in negative energy, without being around people who also drain you. We're also working on becoming consistent, not perfect. So it's just making sure that even for me this morning, I wanted to get up and go to the gym, but I was exhausted and I decided to listen to my body. But that doesn't mean that I'm not going to be consistent. I may not have went at 5 o'clock this morning, but I plan on going at 5 o'clock this evening. So stay consistent with yourself and not feel so bad and not be so hard on yourself in the moments where you feel like you fall short just a little bit. The next one is trusting yourself more than you do other people's opinions. And the next one is leaving old habits and old things that no longer serve you or were connected to the old version of you exactly where they are. Learn to be alone without feeling empty, and learning to value self-discipline as self-respect. So even being alone, right? That's something that I value a lot. I like being alone. I like having time to myself. I like time to journal. I like time to read. I like time to figure out the things that I actually like to do. And within that, I'm actually valuing that time that I take for myself, the discipline that I'm putting in to have those moments. Because sometimes, again, as I've said before in other videos, your silence can be loud, but that silence is going to tell you and it's going to lead you on the path in which you are supposed to go. So don't feel like you are empty or that you're lonely just because you have moments, and need to take those moments to be alone with your thoughts, with your feelings, with your emotions. I got more for you. The biggest one for me is working on speaking like the woman you're becoming and learning that it's okay to start over. For me, my biggest thing is with the speech, especially when I'm at home and I'm in the comfort of, like family and friends, I tend to have a little bit of a potty mouth. So something that I'm working on is, as this successful CEO, life coach, women's health coach, do I want to represent myself in that manner of using not even so much slang, but curse words and things that really have no intellectual meaning behind it. It's just the point of talking because you're used to talking around other people, and normalizing and getting comfortable with starting over. I've started over many times and many things, and rebranding and going back, looking at the drawing board and saying, do these things add up? Do these things work with the ideal self that I see right now in this moment? And if not, it is okay to pivot. It is okay to start over. It is okay. And we need to normalize that just because maybe this thing didn't work out, or maybe you drifted off the path just a little bit, we need to normalize that it is okay for us to start over at this very moment, at this age and where we are, whether you're 40, whether you're 20, whether you're 65 years old. It is okay. And it is something that we need to push forward in and get a better understanding that it is normal to start over, right? Sometimes you push into something faster than what you were prepared for. It's okay to go back to the drawing board. Maybe you need to restudy. Maybe you need to learn. Maybe you need to take a deep breath. Maybe you need to start over. It's okay to normalize that starting over is an okay thing to do. Move with intentions, not desperation, and also learning to accept that growth can be quiet. Sometimes you don't see it. Sometimes you just have to take the action steps. You just have to be consistent. You just have to follow what you're supposed to be doing. Feel inside and understand that you may not see what's happening on the other end. It may not be big. It may not be rah, rah, rah. It may not be right in your face. It may be extremely quiet. Sometimes growth takes that, and that is okay. Focus on alignment, not appearance, not how you feel like you should look in front of someone, not how you feel like you should just present yourself because you think that people need to see this version of you. If it doesn't align, then we're not doing it. And last but definitely not least is realizing that the glow up takes time. You have to be intentional behind it. Realizing that the glow up starts in your mind first. Reconditioning yourself, getting rid of old things, bringing new things into your life. It's not all just about the physical appearance, how your hair is, how your nails is, how you carry yourself, how you just appear to other people. It's about how you think initially inside, what you're actually projecting out to the world, what you believe, what you feel like is important to you, what aligns with you, and what is going to carry you to that next phase of your life, to stepping into that position that you want for yourself and actually being the woman that you're saying, that you're working on, that you're keeping promises to, that you actually want to be. 3 things you can take away from this: change how you see yourself, change what you tolerate, and change how you move. When your identity shifts and your belief within yourself shifts, everything is going to change. The glow up is important, yes, and I hear it a lot of times, and I've followed it, of, you know, thinking it had to be this aesthetically pleasing thing, or I had to look this way or smell this way or dress this way. And those are important things, they're not the top priority. The top priority is that identity shift, believing that you're capable, believing that this person that you're, you know, identifying as is something you can actually achieve. And that takes work, that takes time, that takes consistency, that takes persistence, that takes breaking down old beliefs, that takes building new beliefs, that takes letting go of other people's opinions of you, that takes you valuing and validating yourself without feeling like you have to reach the standard of what you think people need you to be versus who you are, what you're capable of, actually following in alignment of what you're supposed to be doing because you feel it, you understand it, you know when it's right, you know when it's wrong. Just really leaning into that voice inside of you. But in order to do that, there are things that you have to let go of. There are boundaries that you're going to have to set. There are things that you're going to have to bring in, things that you're going to have to relearn, and time that you're going to need to take to be alone in order to actually glow up, right? Glow up is pretty close to growing up. And for me, what I'm understanding, I thought it just had to be this thing of, I show up this way, this is who I am. Absolutely not. Because it's nothing like showing up and you look presentable, but inside you feel empty. Inside you feel like, I don't know who I am. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what's next for me. And though there are moments where you still have that, you have to understand that you still have to work on that every single day. You have to take time to pray. You have to take time to manifest. You have to take time to journal. You have to take time to say, hey, bully that I'm looking at in the mirror that's saying, dang girl, you look a mess. You need a makeover today. You're not going to be the power over me. I'm the power over myself. And even if those things might be true, maybe you do need to apply yourself. Maybe you do need to be a little bit more. That doesn't mean that that's my identity. That just means that that's a part of me. So what do I want my identity to be? What do I want to represent for myself that makes me feel good, that allows me to step into a room and stop dimming my light for other people? I hope you all had some good value to take away from this video. As always, I'm going to ask you to make sure to leave comments. Let me know if you like these videos. Let me know if these are more of what you want me to do. Let me know if you want me to put some music in the background. Make this a little ambiance thing, you know, because I just talk. That's what I do. I coach. I have good conversations. I like to not only speak from my own personal experience, but I also like to give value in what I'm learning for myself, give it to my clients, give it to my community of women. And as always, you're powerful. You're more than enough. You're capable of doing anything that you put your mind to. You just have to put you first, and you have to believe in you. I want you to like, subscribe, hit that notification button. And as always, you're capable of anything that you want to be. Until next time.
Find you under all that pain. There's a fire you can't contain. Brother, let it lead the way.